Indonesia is very nice country, isn't it? And as the people of Indonesia, I really want everyone here struggle a lot, work very hard to make our country better in the next future. All right, students, this time, hello again with me. Sorry, your teachers of TEFL in context. Right. This is special meeting because this is actually the last discussion of teaching pedagogy. After you have already learned the pedagogy for English for young learners, and then continued for the 3 video discussing and presenting English for general purposes, and our last discussion regarding to the teaching pedagogy is English for specific purposes, or people know this a specific term with the ESP. All right, the ESP, English for specific purpose. What is this? What kind of creature is this? And why you should understand the English for specific purposes. All right, now I have a very nice quote actually for everyone here. As we know that learning is a process, but learning is not an instant process. It takes a while for everyone, for learners to um, to understand everything, the phenomena, all the phenomena in the world. Even don't worry, even if you are still far for being perfect, you teach us, you teach me patient. So I have to be patient here with everything. If you are not really like quick learners, it teach me everything. So there always a silver lining in the cloud or in the rain. Okay, now let's together. We jump together to achieve your utmost goals of learning. This is a very nice quote, isn't it? All right. Now, um, when you study at the English department, especially, your the possible professional career is going out in the teaching position. In the teaching position, as I have already mentioned many times before this, is you can be a teacher of young learners. So you teach English for the young learners. And then some of them prefer to pursue your career as a teacher in junior and senior high school. And then some of them, maybe they have a very nice luck, a good luck, to teach not only for junior high school and also not only for young learners. Sometimes you don't have any choice. You need to accept the job as a vocational teacher elsewhere. And this skill, or the skill of ESP, is very important here to discuss, especially when in the future the teaching pedagogy of ESP will assist you to be more professional teacher. All right, now then, um, to understand what is the differences between general English and English for specific purpose, here I give you a very short definition, just very short definition. I really want everyone learn from the very short information, and you expand by yourself the information by reading some information from the journal, or if possible, also if you can access to PDF drive, there are a lot of free books that you can access and read more about the ESP. Right here, general English, pedagogy, things that we have already learned previously is learners want to learn general English in order to get the language, as aspire to master the language for daily use. So for the purpose of communication is not related to a particular job, yeah, position in your position or your professional life. However, it is different from English for specific purposes. English for specific purposes usually thought for people who are going to have career, yeah, a particular career. So that's why English for specific purpose, there are many English for specific purposes. For example, if you have career in a hotel, you work in a hotel, you need to understand English for hotel. By understanding, by using English for hotel, you are supposed to be survive in this position in the hotel, because when you accept guests, when you talkings with the manager of the hotel, sometimes a very specific terminology related to the hotel will be used mostly, yeah. And then when you what is it, work in health center, in hospital, for example, like doctor, nurse, they need to also to understand English for medical purpose, because by knowing English for medical purpose, they understand the instruction. Nurse can be the nurse may understand the instruction from the doctor, because the doctor and also the medical practitioner, usually they use a specific word, the specific terminology and words that the only people work in paramedic area understand what it is. So this is the differences, just a small differences between general English and English for specific purposes. Now, depending also on you later on, which one. If you got accepted, you accepted to the vocational school, of course, you need to understand English for specific purpose a little bit, because as I can see that many vocational school teachers, even if they teach English for general purpose, not for specific purpose. So some student, when they do the internship on the hotel, or for example in the hospital, sometimes they also got difficulties applying or conversing in English, because many people work in that area. Sometimes they use a particular terminology or particular words that only specific job, people in that specific job understand that. And then other thing, that ESP has several characteristic. One of the characteristic is communication. So the emphasis of ESP in communication. if you are a teacher and you are still teaching grammatical aspect, the element of the language like vocabulary separately from communication, then you are still teaching general English, not ESP. Because for the ASP, communication is commonly used directly to talks with people in the job area or in the workplaces. In addition to communication, ESP, English for specific purposes, also focusing on people who are mature, adult, who are ready for a particular profession. Also, this is just a slight information related to ESP. And then, so here some branches of ESP. ESP is still divided into several branches. There are a lot of branches of ESP. One, the first branch I mentioned here is EAP. EAP stand for English for academic purposes. And then the second branch is EOP, English for occupational purposes. And then ESP stand for English for science purposes. Um, each scholar has their own definition of those branches. However, I'll try to discuss a little bit about what are they so you know that you are dealing with EAP, English for academic purpose, or you are dealing with EOP, English for occupational purposes, or ESP, English for science purposes. Let me give you the example, the illustration in our university, University of Muhammadiyah, Malang. This university also equips the student with ESP. So, with what type of ESP do you think given to the student in the first and the second semester? Do you think that English or ESP here belongs to English for science purposes or English for academic purposes or which one? Or English for occupational purposes? Which one do you think? The ESP, run or conducted at the Language Center UMM under the auspices of uh, Language Center or LC ya yang biasa kita kenal dengan LC. Now, let's discuss the differences. All right, here the differences. ERP or academic purposes are usually thought for the students who are going to go to the academic setting or higher education. For example, if you are planning next time when you are graduated from your high school, not high school, your university, graduated from English department, some of you plan to go straight to find out a jobs, and then some others try finding a scholarship in order to be able to continue for higher degree. For example, you go to the master degree. So what you need here is the EAP, English for academic purposes, because in this academic purposes you are going to be equipped with some skill, for example, the skill of presentation, the skill of referencing, the skill of discussion, the skill of listening to the lecture, to the lecturer, especially because the academic environment, especially when we go to the Western education system, the academic environment and the academic requirement can be very different from the academic environment in our country or Eastern country. There are a lot of writing project. Like in our country, there are a lot of memorization, rote learning, and then sometimes you depend on the teacher to explain a concept. You just writing a note with the teacher explanation. Sometimes you memorize what is the teacher saying for the purpose of the test. But when you go to other countries for your study, especially with higher education, um, the role of the teacher is different. So the most active they adopt the student center. So the most active one in the classroom is the student need to do the presentation, student need to do the discussion. Even in the writing assignment, students should be like knowing what is argumentative, what is critical thinking, how to reference your essay, how to reference your paper, anything like that. Sometimes people from Indonesia, especially as far as my concern, when they go to overseas higher education, they get a shock because the education is completely different from us. The education system is different from us, so they get shocked with that differences. Therefore, if there is if there is an institution or agency providing you with English for academic purpose before going overseas, you'd better take some course regarding to EAP or English for academic purposes. Or maybe you have an idea to develop an agency or an institution, to build agency or institution, accepting people who are teach people who are going to go overseas. But of course you have to have adequate knowledge handling this kind of people with specific purpose of going overseas to pursue their higher education. All right. Okay. And then the second type of ESP is EOP, or occupational purpose. Occupational purpose mean workplace. So English in the workplace, depending on what kind of workplace are you what's it you are accepted. Some people are working in the hotel industry or tourism industry. Some of them are working at the company with the engineer industry. Some of them work in the hospital or health industry or something like that. So depending on the occupation or the industry that you are accepted to work. So it is important for you to understand. Uh, it is important for you. Your point as your position as a teacher. It is important for you as a teacher to equip your student, especially vocational student, who are still at the senior high school level, but they are vocational students to equip them with EOP, English for occupational purposes. At the moment in Indonesia, many teacher only equips vocational students with general English. So it is not different from senior high school student. What actually need to do is you have to differentiate between English for vocational student and English for senior high school student, because senior high school student ready to go to university, but many of vocational students ready for jobs, for workplaces. Okay, and then the next is English for science purposes. English for science purposes here, they just want to know some terminology, some expression used for science, for writing journal or anything like that. Not for the purpose of pursuing higher education, or not for the purpose of pursuing jobs, or getting job in a particular industry. For English for science purposes, now develop a lot. They develop a lot. Not only what we can find in at the language center UMM, yeah, English for agriculture, English for international relationship, English for biology, English for law, English for example, like math or anything like that. But now develop, since the world also develop unpredictably, and the ESP, English for science purpose, now develop as well. For example, the branches of English for specific purposes, here it can be English for footballers, English for like aviation, English for HIV, HIV, sorry, English for HIV, HIV, HIV. In Indonesia, we call HIV. Sometimes the health center, they have their specific also term to give the consultation for people suffering from HIV. So they need English for HIV and English for forestry, anything like that. English for what is it? Human trafficking. English for example, English for a migration, immigration and migration people, or something like that. So there are a lot of development in English for specific purposes. All right. Actually, I'm going to give you a simulation how to develop material for English specific purposes, but there will be the next video. I can provide you with this. At the moment, I only give you like simple information that easily for you to digest the information and to understand it. We are going to have discussion about the ESP as well when we meet later. Thank you and bye for now. And don't forget, my tagline, my quote is, keep up the good work. Bye for now.